Former US Vice President Kamala Harris has been ruthlessly mocked by several Sky News Australia hosts following her recent appearance at a real estate conference in the Gold Coast, Queensland.
Favourite time of the week to talk to our favourite person in the world, the wonderful Megyn Kelly, joins us from the United States. How are you, Rockstar?
I'm great. How are you?
Oh, look, you know, I'm always great, but I've just done a new level because Australia was touched by greatness in the past few days. You know, I know that this little old island continent doesn't make a lot of news around the world, but we were changed for the better because a true global leader just graced us with her presence for a day and a half. Kamala Harris was here, and just an example of what you've missed out as a president. She was addressing a real estate conference. I mean, we're lucky, aren't we, to just get a little bit of this gold dust, that the realtors of Australia are what bring her out of hiding.
Like, for what lessons exactly? First of all, she's never been a salesperson. Don't you have to know sales and very well to be a realtor? Like, that's one of their greatest skills. You'd think they'd want somebody who is an excellent salesperson. She's never been in the public sector doing any sort of sales work whatsoever, other than her fake little stint at McDonald's. But let's face it, those burgers sell themselves. So what could be gleaned from her? First of all, you got to be a little concerned. Like, it'd be one thing if she were in hot demand over here and like she just made time for the Aussies because that's out of the goodness of her heart. Nobody wants her. Like, she had to go over there where her reputation didn't so much precede her in order to get a check. So my friends, we need to be a little bit more discerning in our invitations. And then the bits that I saw, because earlier today, at least, it wasn't put out on video, so we were just getting little sneak peeks at it from what my friends over there, got and put online. It was just more inanity, saying absolutely nothing about anything, with a huge windup to every single quote unquote point she was about to make. She makes you work so hard. You have to sift through 500 words to get to the 4 that actually do have meaning, but then you realize that those 2 are entirely empty.
Now, I would hate to suggest that somebody like Kamala Harris is basically just giving a version of the same speech wherever she goes, which, of course, is the laziest possible thing, and they get paid a huge chunk of change. Can I read from one of the newspaper accounts of what she said? Quote, she said,
please do.
Real estate agents could be considered, quote, civic leaders for their role in connecting buyers with suitable homes. The point... She just turns up anywhere and insert industry or who I'm talking to and tell them that they're civic leaders. They're flogging apartments around Australia and beachside on the Gold Coast. Civic leaders, please.
I'm sure they don't even see themselves like that. Like, they know a lot about houses and what would make somebody happy and what's a good deal and what's not. But civic leaders, what is that? That's like your preacher, probably your mayor, I don't know, some activist in town who's taken up an issue that's important to the town, like no windmills offshore. I don't know, but it's probably not the realtor. And that's just, of course, her empty pablum, because CAA took her on as a client, this big agency that I used to be with too. And I'm sorry to tell you, but you guys were the only takers. So someone was really excited until they found out, like, literally no one else wanted her. I shudder to think what the check looked like. They cannot get her any gigs over here. No one wants to hear from her. Not only could she not sell real estate the way the people listening to this show likely can, she couldn't sell herself. So why would you think she would have something of value to say to you about sales, which is the business of real estate? Like, she didn't win the presidency. She didn't win the nomination ever. She couldn't. She failed miserably when she actually did run. She couldn't sell herself as an inspirational woman, nor as a woman from Puerto Rico or Jamaica or where else were her accents from? She couldn't sell herself as any of those things. All she really is an out-of-work lawyer. So, I mean, maybe you should ask her about contract law. She might be able to say something valuable on that front. Otherwise, it was a waste of everyone's time.
Now, see, Kamala Harris's visit down under is making news in America. Finally, she appeared at a real estate conference, Josh. She was there alongside reality TV stars, so that's the sort of level we're talking about. And she had all sorts of keen insights.
You have the ability to understand the context in which you live, the context in which others live. You're more likely to then connect with them and understand what's important to them. But if you are in an interaction where you don't have that level of awareness, they will be aware of that. I mean, this is the thing that I've also known about life, and I'm sure everyone here understands.
She even did some of her finest work about being unburdened by what has been. And there was this Playboy magazine anecdote.
You look at, we're in the store or whatever, you look at the cover of Playboy magazine. Let me just tell you, the reason that people are looking at these things, understand why they were developed, for the perpetuation of the human species.
Josh, that could have been your president.
Yeah, the laugh is just so unbearable, is it not? I mean, they called her the cackler in chief for a reason there. I mean, that laugh just makes you just want to curl up into a fetal position and pretend like you never heard that for the rest of your entire life there. I mean, look, on the one hand, I'm inclined to say that was a word salad. The problem with calling it a word salad is that every so often a salad can actually be quite tasty and nutritious. There was absolutely nothing tasty and nutritious about what we just heard there. I mean, this is a woman who is just profoundly untalented. The number one thing, Rita, that I have never has never ceased to amaze me about Kamala Harris every time that I've seen her, and I followed her career for a very long time. She was a very prominent DA, prominent not because of her legal prowess, I might say, prominent only because of the disproportionate media attention that was shown her way. She was a prominent DA out in San Francisco. She was California Attorney General, Senator from California, Vice President. I followed her career for a long time. The thing that never ceases to amaze me is just how profoundly untalented this woman is. At some point, someone in the DNC brass saw someone who checked a few intersectional identity politics boxes, and they said, my God, we found the next talent and we are going to promote the living crap out of her and just promote her and give her every opportunity. And sure enough, they succeeded until they didn't, until she got shellacked in every single swing state by Donald Trump in the 2024 presidential election. But this woman just is not talented. She is not skilled. And frankly, it really kind of baffles me why she hasn't just retreated and gone in some Tony, 7 or 8 figure position in some consulting gig in the Fortune 500. I'm sure there are a lot of corporations that would pay her a lot of money to do these word salad sandwiches, whatever we're calling it there. But why she's trying to bother the folks down under about it, I have no idea, frankly.
Well, she almost failed her way up to the Oval Office. She was almost president. So that in itself is astonishing. Someone who has really not done particularly well in any of those prominent roles she's been in, and yet kept getting pushed because she ticks so many of those boxes.
Now, I don't know what Australia ever did to the US to receive Kamala Harris's presence over the weekend, yet she was here on the Gold Coast sharing her pearls of wisdom at a real estate conference nonetheless. The former Vice President took a swipe at Donald Trump and even joked about her employment situation. Have a look.
As I said, I think your best work is ahead of you for sure, 100%. I
am unemployed right now.
Kristen, firstly, I'm surprised we even got her down under for a real estate conference. I'm not sure what her expertise is in real estate and property, but apparently. But, another word salad.
That's right. Yeah, I am also shocked that she was invited to speak at this conference. She is literally an expert in nothing. The only reason she became the vice president is because Joe Biden boxed himself in by stating on the campaign trail that he wanted a Black female as his running mate. And that limited his choices dramatically. She is the classic DEI failure. But yeah, we all in America, we realize at this point that she speaks in word salad. She says a whole bunch of long-sounding words that mean absolutely nothing. And she is just so embarrassing and so boring to listen to, actually. So I apologize that you had to deal with her in your country for that trip.
As I said, I don't know what we did to the US to deserve Kamala Harris down here in Australia, but there you go. Kristen Tate, it's been nice to catch up with you. Thanks so much for joining me on the show this evening.
Thank you so much for having me.